llena de gardenias plena reflorecerá.
Hi guys, happy Friday. It is Friday afternoon here in Mexico City. I am here for a couple days by myself. David's out of town and it's been a long week. I had 4 more days of class where my brain continues to work really hard to try to learn Spanish. I haven't gotten much sleep the past couple of nights and we had a really busy week finally signing our lease and moving in. So I thought, what better way to spend Friday afternoon than coming in to Bosque de Chapultepec, which is the really massive park here, and coming to check out the zoo, which is free and open until 4:30, and I love zoos. So hopefully this one is a good comparison to what we have in Washington, D.C. But I thought this would also be a great opportunity to just check in and tell you a little bit about some of the things we experienced this week that are also making me pretty tired, and I'll definitely be going to bed early tonight. Like I said, we finally signed a lease on a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom apartment in a perfect neighborhood just 5 blocks from David's office. But there were a lot of steps that we had to take to get there, and there were some bumps along the way that we did not anticipate. One thing in particular that we didn't know about prior to starting the search here is, just like in the US, if you don't have a guarantor on your lease, especially as a foreigner, you probably are going to have to purchase something called a poliza, which is a rental property insurance policy. Ours came to about I think it was 5,995 pesos, which is about $360. And since we are only on one income right now, we still have not been able to rent out our place back in DC. That's a lot of money. It's fine, it was still the right choice, but just something that we didn't anticipate and something that you should watch out for if you are also planning on moving here. Another thing I know that I've mentioned in a post or two, or maybe an Instagram post, is the fact that the weather is always a little warmer than what your weather app would say. That's because the sun's pretty strong here. That being said, at least in the springtime, and we've only been here a couple weeks, it gets nice and overcast in the afternoon, so you need to be prepared with layers, especially if you're visiting and spending the whole day away from your room. However, still wear sunscreen. The sun is very strong, even with overcast, and you don't want to end your day burnt to a crisp and uncomfortable. So I'm directing behind the camera now, and I just walked out of the zoo. I only did a small piece today. My legs were getting pretty tired, and it's a much larger zoo in reality than what the map shows. And when you exit, you come across this beautiful old-style carousel. Bosque de Chapultepec is massive, and there are many, many corners to it that will take David and I multiple trips to see everything in. But one good tip is, I know as a tourist or as a visitor, you always want to be prepared with your water and snacks, but here in the park, almost every single street is lined with all those blue umbrellas over there, with vendors selling all sorts of drinks, snacks, healthy and unhealthy. You'll find chips, ice cream, bags of nuts. For those of you who eat pork, there's chicharrones. So you don't need to come as prepared to Chapultepec as you might in other places if you're willing to spend a couple pesos here and there on the things that you need. So it's starting to cloud over a little more, which might mean that there could be a couple minutes of rain coming my way. So before that happens, I wanted to just give a couple more random tips from the week that I've certainly picked up. One is that Google Maps is accurate at home. At least it was always very accurate for me in DC in terms of how long it would take to walk somewhere. And it's a little off here. I have found that it takes anywhere from an additional 5 to 10 minutes to walk somewhere than from what Google Maps tells me. So just keep that in mind if you're living here or visiting. The other thing is, if you know a little bit of Spanish, are trying to brush up on your Spanish, or are like me and know nothing and are brand new to learning, don't be afraid to use the little bit that you know. I have found so far that People here in the city are very patient and very willing to let you stumble through. So don't be afraid to have incorrect grammar. They will understand what you're saying if you're trying to order your lunch or ask for basic direction. In that same vein, don't be afraid to ask a store vendor or a server what something is. There's lots of new foods here, lots of new terms, even for those of you who know Spanish pretty well, but maybe learned your Spanish from more of a Spain dialect. There are many different words here, so just ask what something is, or ask how to use something. If you're wanting to learn how to cook with a new ingredient, the vendors will always be more than happy to tell you what to do, and then you'll learn something new. As I just mentioned, there actually are some drops coming down, but the sun's also now peeking out, so we're having a little sun shower moment here in the park. So just to close out, I think the other thing that really kind of hit home for me this week is I had my first major meltdown. And by that, I mean a couple nights ago, I cried nonstop for an hour and a half. Not because of anything in particular, but I was tired from 2 days of signing a lease, getting our bank account set up, moving all of our stuff, trying to feel a little settled in, waking up and going to school for 3 hours every day, and then coming home and trying to do homework. And on top of that, while our new apartment is great, it's not the kitchen that I'm used to. And I was trying to make dinner and things just weren't working. We have a small sink, which by the way is really normal here without a dishwasher. I don't mind not having the dishwasher at all, but the sink is small, and so trying to do dishes is not really that fun, and I just broke down. And I couldn't stop crying, and I felt bad and guilty for having a moment of negative culture shock when we are so lucky to be here and have been having an amazing time. But a couple days later, I realized it's okay to have those bad moments, and it was really the first bad moment that I had had since being here. Especially if you're moving, there are going to be times that are difficult, even in a good day. You know, it was wonderful that we had moved in, that we found this great place, that we love our new neighborhood, and even in all of the wonderfulness, I still had a moment of not great, and it was embarrassing, and I had some guilt, but it's okay. And anyone moving to Mexico or to any new country needs to know that it's perfectly okay to have bad moments. Have your cry, let it out, move past it, and then wake up the next morning feeling really grateful that the weather is beautiful and the sun is out, and that you get to have another day learning a new culture. So with that, I am gonna make my way back home. Oh, sorry, lots of loud noise behind us. And try to relax, and hopefully I'm gonna get a good night's sleep tonight so I can have a really amazing weekend ahead. And I'll talk to everyone soon. Bye.